All right, we're here at Grappletv podcast. We're in the bowels of San Pedro. I call it the bowels.
The
I call
bowels?
every place the bowels.
I say San Pedro's where the ghetto meets the sea.
It's interesting. Where the ghetto meets the sea.
Where the ghetto meets the sea.
I'm here with Brian Mendez. Is Mendez a Mexican last name?
Yes, sir.
You know you look a little Japanese-ish, right?
Oh no, it's a native. You know,
Native Indian?
my grandmother is like
The
full.
native Indians are Asian.
Yes, you know they came across the Bering Strait.
Okay, you know a little bit.
Oh yeah,
Just a little
I'm
bit.
a history freak.
You're
I
a
love
history
history.
freak?
Yeah, super
All
freak.
right.
I sucked at every other subject in school, but history was my thing.
So you are a black belt under
Paulo Gilabel and
Paulo
Saulo
Gilabel.
Ribeiro.
And you are also a former Marine.
Yes, sir. I was a Marine Corps Scout Sniper with the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines. I did 8 years in the Marine Corps. Got off active duty back in 2011, and then went to school for physical therapy, sports massage, and then about 3 years ago, I got my a little over 3 years ago, I got my black belt after winning the PANs, and I started teaching here in San Pedro, and been doing it ever since. We had just moved to this new location, about 1 block from where I used to be. For the first 2 years, my school was in the basement of a chiropractor's office. And then he ended up selling his practice and his building, and I had to relocate. So that was a little stressful. And then back last February, we got this location that we're at now, and it's been a blessing. It's been really great.
So having a chiropractor in the same building as a jiu-jitsu school, that should have worked out pretty good for the chiropractor.
Oh, it was great. It was great because he always had business.
Yeah.
So now, we have a new chiropractor, and he's right around the corner. He's really great. Got a cryo chamber there. He actually took care of.
Do you wear socks when you go in the cryo chamber?
Oh yeah, socks and gloves.
Just want to make sure, Odell Beckham Jr. Was it Odell that made that?
Yeah,
No,
somebody
no,
had
no.
like frostbite.
It was the other guy who was with the Raiders. He got cut. Anyways, doesn't matter. Let's go back here. Let's start U.S. Marines. Why did you go to the Marine Corps?
So I was in high school. I went to Torrance High School, and it was my senior year, 2001, 2002, that 9/11 happened, and it was I think everybody was pissed off, and everybody wanted to, everybody got all patriotic, and that was my main contributing factor to enlisting in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
And then that movie Sniper, Tom Berenger, that was made me want to be a sniper. And my recruiter just so happened to be a Marine Corps Scout Sniper. So it was really it was like it was all lined up. That was what I was going to do.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let me stop and say thank you for your patriotism and thank you for serving. A lot of people won't do that or wouldn't do that. I know I wouldn't do that.
Well, thank you for the support. Thank you for the support.
I'm a coward. I just like to talk.
Nah.
So you go to the Marines and you become a sniper. What does that entail? Well, let's just talk about going into the Marines first of all. That's always talked about as one of the toughest.
Well, the Marine Corps is definitely the hardest enlisted branch of service to go through. It's an extra month longer than all the other branches.
And why did you want to do this again?
Because I wanted to be the best, and the Marines are the best, and so there was something prideful about earning the title of Marine that just was so intriguing to me, and of course the dress blues.
So you have a choice. You could either be a Marine or you could be a jiu-jitsu black belt. I don't put you in that predicament.
Well, I'm both.
Why not do both?
I'm both. And I was blessed. I didn't train much in the gi for the first.
We're not talking about jiu-jitsu. We're talking about military. My fault.
Okay, yeah, no, I was talking about in the Marine Corps. We did Marine Corps martial arts. So I was a Marine Corps.
Let's go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So in the Marine Corps, I grappled a lot. We had the Marine Corps martial art program. I was very, very blessed to actually receive my black belt in MCMAP from Colonel George Bristol himself, who was the founder of the Marine Corps martial art program. And Colonel Bristol, for a lot of people, older guys in the Marine Corps, to know, he was a bad motherfucker.
So they were teaching what type of
So the
martial
Marine
arts?
Corps martial art program consists of about 50% of the program is Elio Gracie's self-defense.
Really?
Yes, and then Muay Thai kickboxing, Filipino martial arts, and then Japanese karate, judo, and jiu-jitsu. So Colonel Bristol himself, he actually trained for about a year with Master Hickson, and to train with Horion at the Gracie Academy in Torrance back in 99, 2000 when he was putting the Marine Corps martial art program together. Prior to that, he was already judo black belt, Japanese jiu-jitsu black belt, Okinawan karate, and a bunch of other. He probably had like 6 or 7 black belts in traditional martial arts prior to training with the Gracies. And then he put that program together with Master Gunnery Sergeant Urso, who was a striking guy, particularly a striking guy. And then they put the MCMAP program together.
MCMAP?
MCMAP, Marine Corps Martial Art Program.
MCMAP. I like McDonald's. I don't know about McMap.
Oh man, those fries. Yeah, you know, I don't eat. I try not to eat fast food anymore. I do. I eat really, really clean now. Pretty much almost vegan. I mean, I still eat fish and eggs and stuff like that, but try very, very little red meat unless it's like Brazilian barbecue or something like that. But I really changed up my eating habits. I don't drink alcohol at all anymore. It's been a whole year, and man, I dropped so much weight. I got so lean, just healthier overall, just mind, body, spirit.
All right, let's go back to the Marines. So now you go to boot camp. How you feel about? Did you do any sports before you were in the Marines?
Yes, I wrestled in high school.
Oh,
yeah, I wrestled for Torrance High School.
Oh, okay. Then
so I had
boot
that.
camp was kind of.
Cheated.
You kind of cheated because
I was already ready for it. I was already really good shape. Wrestling, high school wrestling, and sure. I did martial arts my whole life. I started when I was like 6 years old with Kempo karate, did Taekwondo, did all this stuff. And then,
you guys can talk. Don't worry about us. We're good.
Yeah. And I did Kempo and Kung Fu. I did all these other traditional martial arts prior to Jiu-Jitsu. And so in about 7th and 8th grade, I started training Jiu-Jitsu. So, and then Judo, and then wrestling all through high school. So I already had that mental toughness to handle it, or, most people didn't.
So how many people dropped out of the Marine Corps boot camp? Or didn't make it, I should say.
We had a few people that got dropped for injuries and whatnot, but I mean, for the most part, the class, everybody pretty much made it through the class. We had some people fall out they weren't ready for boot camp, they weren't in shape, so they get dropped to another platoon, they end up graduating like another month later or 2 months later, and then some guys just don't make it through at all.
So you get through boot camp, and now you're going to go to
sniper
I go to school.
No. So after, So how it works? If you're Marine Corps infantry, you after boot camp, your 12-week boot camp, you get 10 days off, leave, and then you come home, visit, and you go back. You report back to either Camp Pendleton for SOI, which is the School of Infantry, which is a 10-week school, and it's about learning how to be a grunt, and then he breaks down into those grunt military occupational specialties. You have machine gunners, mortarmen, and then you have riflemen, and then assaultmen, and different levels.
What's a rifleman?
A rifleman is your basic 0311, a grunt, the one that you see on them on TV kicking down the doors and going in. That's a basic rifleman. And then you have the machine gunners that man the 50 cals and 240 Golfs, and then you'll have those attached to rifle companies. And then they have weapons companies. So every infantry battalion has a heavy weapons company. They have 3 line rifle platoons with the majority are 0311. So that's like the bulk of the infantry is the 0311 MOS. And then after you get to the fleet and you graduated from your School of Infantry, then every unit has what they call a scout sniper in dock. And it's usually after a rotation of a deployment. Some of those snipers will be getting off active duty or moving on to different billets, and so they need to replenish those numbers in the teams. So then the sniper platoon will host in dock, and they'll pretty much just run them into the dirt until people they'll quit or drop on request. And after that process, they make it through. Like for example, I took my sniper in doc with 50 Marines from ranks of private to sergeant, and at the end of the week there was only 12 left because it was
and you were one of the 12.
yes, that was just to get through the in doc to get into the platoon.
Wow.
And then while you get into the platoon, we deploy. And
Wait,
then
let me stop you. Are you already practicing being a sniper?
yes, so your scout sniper platoon gets you ready to be a sniper. They teach you how to stalk, make your ghillie suit. They teach you your land navigation. They teach you how to shoot. They teach you everything you need to know as a sniper. And then you go to the scout sniper school, which they changed the time. It used to be when I went through it was 10 weeks. 11 weeks, and then it's 8 weeks now. But that was actually to go and get the Scout Sniper MOS to make you a full-fledged sniper. So after when we graduated from there, then we went back to our units, and same thing. We deployed, went overseas. I mean, I had guys that went to sniper school, and then they ended up falling out because of land navigation. They couldn't use a compass. They knew how to shoot. They knew how to stalk in a ghillie suit, but they didn't know how to use a protractor and a compass to find land nav points, and they failed because of that. I knew people that failed because they didn't know how to stalk in a ghillie suit, And my class, we only had a few people actually fail because they didn't. Like we had a few people fail for land navigation. We had a couple people fail for fall out for injuries. That's like a big thing too. Attrition means you're running with your boots on, 50-pound, 40-pound sandbag in your pack, running these hills, so guys rolling their ankles a lot and hyperextending their knees and stress fractures in the foot.
But because of your wrestling.
Yeah, see all that stuff, because I actually hurt my ankle really, really bad on the last week of sniper school. They call it pretty much the hell week, and it's a motherfucker. I rolled my ankle like the first day of it, and I got through it because I just tightened my boot really tight. I knew my ankle was fucked up, but I was not going to give up. I got too far. So the last thing of this hell week is they don't give you you don't have any food. It's hell. They give you they teach you how to live off the land, kind of a little survival there. But the last thing of it is called the Trail of Tears, and this is where you really test your mental toughness because it's about a 16-mile circle around the hills of Camp Pendleton, and you're going through these draws and these hills and on these trails, and the whole time you have your pack it's like 50, 60 pounds with all your water. You have your rifle, and the instructors on the cadre are throwing CS gas at you, and which is tear gas, and so you're tearing up, coughing along this Trail of Tears, and so once you finish that, it's like the culmination. It's like, dude, you fucking survived. And so that's like the greatest accomplishment in the world. And most of the people that, that's like you get another level after you finish sniper school of mental toughness because of everything you went through. And that prepares you for combat and to be a good sniper and to go out there and do the job, because it's pretty intense out there. So I always tell people, if you watch that movie American Sniper, that is the best portrayal of what it was like as a scout sniper. Any sniper, pretty much the job is the same in Iraq because there's no water. So whether you're a Navy SEAL sniper, an Army sniper, or a Marine sniper, you're doing the same job, same mission for the most part, and when you're in Iraq.
Did you have to kill anybody?
Oh yeah.
How many people you think?
It's up there.
Over 10?
Yeah.
And you're doing this only as a sniper?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, we had a lot of instances where it was really, CQB, close quarter battle. We've had times. I was in Fallujah, and we had times where you kick down a door and there's a group of guys with guns behind it. No shit, your gun's up and you're getting in a gunfight right there, and you guys are 5-6 feet away from each other.
That's not a sniper.
I know, but you have to get into your sniper position. You still gotta clear a house. So I have to go, and I still have to kick down that door, And so that's why every Marine's a rifleman. We still learn, you still learn the 0311 stuff. You still learn how to clear a house. Whether their job is to sit on top of a roof and do overwatch, you still have to get up onto the roof. So you have to clear that house the same way. So we all learn the same. We all learn that style. You have to learn CQB too, because you have to clear your own houses sometimes to get into your own hides to make your own position so that you can do your overwatch. Because sometimes you don't have those infantrymen there to do that for you. And a lot of the times, when we would patrol with the infantry, and they would clear the house for us, and then we would just stay behind, and then they'd keep on clearing houses, and then we'd stay behind and watch their back while they would. That was one of the biggest things we did when we were in Iraq.
Did you ever get to use your jiu-jitsu, wrestling, anything?
Not so much in like a hand-to-hand situation. We had one incident where there was a guy that actually kind of like jumped out and kind of surprised us, but we took care of it, and I had my buddies there, and it worked out. But I had friends though in my team that no shit, they had straight hand-to-hand combat. I mean, getting out there, and it was pretty like hand-to-hand. I mean, choking motherfuckers to death. Not just choking them to pass out, but choking them to death. Because their rifle was. That's a lot of things too. Is like when you think a house is cleared and it's not cleared, and you're setting up your hide site, and you have your rifle sitting against the wall because you're working with both your hands, and all of a sudden somebody jumps out because it's not cleared. See, and that's where it sucks, because when you're getting. Not saying this happened a lot, but there's been times, and I've heard from other teams that they thought the house was cleared because they weren't the ones that cleared it. They went in after it was cleared, and there was somebody hiding, or somebody else was there. There was a booby trap, or whatever the case. So yeah, it's pretty intense. I mean, we can have a whole podcast just on that.
I have a question for you. So if we're doing close quarter combat, QCB.
CQB, so close quarter battle.
Okay, CQB.
Yeah.
If we're doing that,
or you call it mount training,
and we're in a place like this, is it better to have a handgun, or is it better to have a rifle?
I like an M4. An M4 is perfect. It's short. A short barreled. You want any kind of assault rifle, an AR. That's the ideal weapon. Now, there's a lot of open space here. Like a pistol would be great if a pistol, like if this was a wall and that was a wall, and we were going like that. Yeah, a pistol's great for that range. But like now, if I'm over here and then there's a big all the way down there, I'd want my AR. That's a little bit going out of the range of. You have to be an exceptional pistol marksmanship after like 20 feet.
Okay.
Like from here to there, I could shoot you from the hip with my pistol. Okay. Everybody's Carlos Hathcock at 10 feet.
So I brought this up on Facebook one time. I said in close quarters, it's better to have a pistol because you can peek around.
Yeah, for the most part.
Stuff like that.
For the most part.
You have to do this if you have.
Well, there's different techniques. There's different techniques you can do, like say with a short barrel.
It's easier.
It's definitely I would definitely choose a pistol so much over like the longer traditional M16. Okay. Yeah, but if I had a short barrel.
I was right again. Whoever you guys were supposed to be.
Yeah, you for the CQB you would want a pistol if like clearing apartments or if you're in your house clearing your apartment or a room. Yeah, but where you have like long open spaces. Over 20 feet, a short barrel, M4.
Sure.
Perfect.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So if you don't mind if we talk about when you killed somebody, the first time, how did you handle it? Or was there enough time to handle it? Or
there wasn't really even time to process it. The first time, was in the Battle of Fallujah. We were clearing house to house, and then. A lot of the time it was shoot and move. So it was like 2 in the chest, drop a guy, and you're moving. You're not timed to sit there and process. Oh my God, I just killed a guy. Actually, the first time it was with the 204. First time I ever killed somebody was with a 204 grenade launcher. The Tony Montana, say hello to my little friend. So that was actually there was a guy in a window, and I shot it through the window. And he was shooting out of a window, and I shot the 203, went straight through the window and blew him up, and he was just a splat pretty much behind it. They cleared him. They cleared that house. They ended up killing a couple other insurgents that were in that house.
I got a question for you. It's off topic, but I saw yesterday somebody had it on a green belt and he was an adult. I see another adult with a green belt on.
Okay, so in Ribeiro, so let's go back to some jiu-jitsu then.
Sorry, folks.
Oh no. So in Ribeiro jiu-jitsu, there's a couple other schools that do it, but it's a Ribeiro jiu-jitsu thing. We it's kind of the green belt is like the fourth stripe, if you would. So we do white belt, 1, 2, 3 stripes, and then for the fourth stripe we do a green belt. It's kind of like a probation belt, like you're almost there, and then you'll keep them at that for 6 months or a year. It's kind of like your motivation not to give up. And Sensei Salo, brought that. I mean, I think he's been doing that for a while. But as far as like the Ribeiro Jiu-Jitsu associations, I mean, we all are pretty much on that same sheet of music. Like for example, I have a guy. He's right there. He's a judoka and he's a black belt in judo, but he's in jiu-jitsu. He has to compete as a blue belt, but his jiu-jitsu is not blue belt yet.
Sure.
So I just gave him a green belt right away, just because he's not a white belt.
Sure.
All
right, let's go back to Fallujah.
Okay.
So how much sleep are you getting at night?
Oh man, sleep deprived. We were in Fallujah the first time we were there for about 25 days before they pulled us out. And this was the first Battle of Fallujah, which was in April of 2004. It was Operation Vigilant Resolve. A few days prior to our engagement there, the insurgents of Fallujah had just killed 4 Blackwater contract workers. They dragged their bodies down the street and hung them up over a bridge. And that's what got us into the Battle of Fallujah. And General Mattis was the division commander at the time, and ourselves it was 3-4 from 29 Palms, 1-5 from Camp Pendleton, and 2-1 from Camp Pendleton were the units that were in the initial Battle of Fallujah. And then we had a couple other help there. Now that was pretty intense. I mean, the sleep was the first 2 weeks was very little. I would say the first week I was only maybe an hour, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I remember, I shot at a shadow. I was so sleep deprived. I thought a shadow was, because if your mind doesn't work if you're not getting REM, you need REM sleep.
Sure.
So if you're up and you're not getting REM sleep, you're gonna trip out. That's why people that do drugs they lose their minds because they don't get the proper sleep. And same thing, you're out there, you try to sleep, you get 20 minutes, and all of a sudden there's a firefight that goes on, and you wake up, oh shit, and you get into a firefight, and then it relaxes, and then you try to go back to sleep because it's your time. You have your 2 hours of rest time, and you have 2 hours on security, or 3 hours of rest and 3 hours on security. But that time you're resting, your adrenaline's so going, you can't think about it. And if it's not, getting into a firefight, you're getting indirect fire, incoming mortars and rockets all the time on a regular basis. It's pretty, not much sleep the first time. My second deployment to Iraq was the following year, and we were in Ramadi, and that was pretty crazy too. There was more, not so much with the firefights as far as like getting into gunfights, but it was we had a lot of indirect fire, a lot of sniper fire that year. We had a lot of people taken out from sniper fire. Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. Because
where does fear come in?
Fear is always there. If anybody says that they're not afraid, they're fucking stupid. You've got to be very far gone or being able to master separating your mind from it. And I know people that I call them, Zen Marines. I know guys that are still operating, still doing the same thing they've been doing for the last 16 years. They're in MARSOC now, which is the Marine Special Operations. And these guys are still doing the same thing. Their mind is just as clear, just as sharp. These guys.
They still have fear?
Yeah, but that's what keeps you alive. It keeps you alive. If you don't have that fear, you kind of get. If you don't have that fear, you can get reckless. Like if you don't have fear, you can get reckless and do stupid shit. And then that's the kind of stuff that gets people killed. So you always have to have that you have to be confident is what it is. You have to be confident in your mission. That's why we drill. That's why we constantly drill the same thing over and over again. Same like in jiu-jitsu. We drill the same thing over and over again to get good at it so that we're able to do it without thinking. And then we get to the point where we're able to do 2-3 moves ahead. It's the same thing, in gunfighting, in war fighting. You drill clearing a room, you drill throwing your grenade, you drill marksmanship, you drill combatives, so that when it comes down to it, you're trained to handle somebody with a gun in your face. You're trained to handle what happened. Oh shit, indirect fire. Okay, somebody gets hurt. You're trained to handle that situation and take care of somebody that's getting shot and he's got a wound, and you got to take care of him so he doesn't bleed out. All that training. That's why the mental training of martial arts and martial law, discipline and military, they go hand in hand. We see a lot of guys that are prior service, military guys. They do very, very well in jiu-jitsu, whether it's running an academy or a jiu-jitsu competitor, or whatever that is. They go hand in hand.
Did you shoot first or get fired upon first?
The first engagement I ever had, we had just gotten a couple pop shots, and so we were going in. So they technically, we got shot at first because we were going to engage where we were getting fired at from. And then as we got towards that area, a guy came out, and that was the first time I actually ever shot somebody. It was just a guy running by. It was just 2 in the chest, and then we kept on going. It was not time. Like I said, a lot of the time, a lot of guys never have time to sit there in remorse and think about their first shot. Like my first kill wasn't behind a scope. I think it's a little bit different for a scout sniper, maybe that their first kill being behind a scope, because you get the time to sit there and think and reminisce about that guy, and you get to see him there on the floor, the guy that you just shot. As compared to when you're on the move, it's just 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, 2 in the chest, and you're going and going, and you don't have time to sit there and think about that shot because you got to keep on going because there's other guys. Yeah.
This is crazy talk to me. It just doesn't even seem real.
Shit's crazy.
What about? So we talked about sleep deprived. What about your eating habits?
So, just like I said, in Fallujah, it was you just ate whenever you can eat. During that deployment, it wasn't so much sleep deprivation. Like the battle, we were in Iraq. I think it was February to July. We deployed. Prior to that, we went to Okinawa for 2 months to do some training, and then from Okinawa, we went to Iraq. So we were only in Iraq for about 5 months, my first deployment, because we did 2 months in Okinawa training. Then in that time, it's a little self-defense, Vale Tudo guard, but you can also do this technique in a sport environment, okay? I'm gonna show it both ways, okay? So the first one, these guys are here, he's gonna try to ground and pound. Boom, 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 I get my shield. Boom, boom, control the top hand, 2-on-1. Without strikes.
All right, whenever you